Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here after Carlisle have won 5-0 at home against Braintree Town. And no, let me repeat that, we've won 5-0. One more time, 5-0 we've won. I think that's our biggest win in 7 years. 6-0 against Oldham, I think, was the last time we scored this many. Wow, absolutely fantastic. You know, a lot of people kind of predicted we'd have a few games like this when we dropped down at the National League, but, you know, with the start of the season, kind of, not awful start to the season we've had, but the rocky start to the season we've had, I started to doubt that. But wow, yeah, Regan Linney's the real deal, isn't he? That's what I'm going to start this video with. Regan Linney is the real deal. He's got 5 goals already this season. Our top goal scorer last year, I think, was Matthew Dennis. He finished on 5 goals for the season last year. 5 goals was our top goal scorer last season. We're 5 games into the season now, and we've matched that already with Regan Linney. Hat-trick hero today. You know, I mean, fantastic getting a hat-trick, but I don't think any of the other two can live up to the goal, his first goal and Carlisle's first goal. Yes, a fantastic finish for our first goal. You know, very similar to the one he scored in almost the same position against Boreham Wood, where he just kind of cuts in and curls it past the keeper into the far post. He's just an exceptional player, and even without the goal scoring, you can just see that in the way that he's passing, the way he can take a man on, his speed. I'll be honest, I haven't a clue how we've managed to get that deal over the line. I haven't a clue how we've managed to sign him. Well, I assume a big part in that will probably be Tierney, who was at the match today. It's the first time I've seen him at a Carlisle match this season. It was nice to see he was up sitting behind me with Big Tom Piatak. And, you know, coming from Altrincham, I think maybe, even if we've signed Tierney as our director of football, with the sole intention of getting Regan Linney, it's been worth it. Because what a player. And look, but I almost don't want to go too much into Regan Linney, because that almost takes away from the performance of everyone else. Regan Linney was fantastic, but so was every other player on that pitch today. And I mean every other player. You know, I got a lot of stick in the last video by saying I didn't think Terrell Thomas had played particularly well, when most people had. And I do stand by that last week. But I think I'm agreeing with the mass a lot more this week. He had a very good game. He had one, in particular, very good kind of last-ditch tackle. Yeah, just incredible. Incredible from every player today. Breeze, not that he had too much to do. I think almost by default he has to be our worst player today, because he didn't really have the chance to prove himself that he didn't have a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I think he had a very good game. But he didn't have the chances to prove he was having a good game, because the defence in front of him was so good that he didn't have anything to do the entire game. You know, I remember, especially in the first half, I remember looking at him and thinking, you must be so bored. Which almost isn't a good thing for keepers, because you find that if they don't have much to do for the full game, that almost that first shot can then catch them off guard and go in. But, you know, I'm not entirely sure that first shot ever came. There was one, I'm not going to say chance, but one shot from Braintree from very far out where they tried to lob the keeper, but Breeze just caught it, and I think that's the only save he really had to make in the whole game. Yeah, look, the midfield, when I saw the lineup, I was concerned about the midfield. I saw Jack Ellis in the midfield again, which I don't like. I saw McAdam, who I think's been very good in midfield, taken out for Whelan, who didn't have a good game the last time he started. And obviously Wern I was very happy with, because I like Wern as a player. But I think Jack Ellis really impressed me today. I'm not sure I want to see him as a midfielder going forward, but he certainly made a case for that being, you know, where he's going to be going forward. I think if he can play like that every game in midfield, then he's got a place in that midfield. You know, the midfield three was excellent, Wern was excellent, and then you go to that front three, and just speechless for the quality of that front three. And I've spoke before about how we've got almost an embarrassment of riches in the front line. But I think that front three now of Luamba, Armstrong, Linney has to be our first choice front three, our strongest front three. Not that Ajiboye isn't a good player, not that Kelly isn't a good player, because I think they both played really well when they came on as substitutes. But yeah, Luamba again, excellent. Maybe throws himself to the ground a bit more than I would like, but apart from that, excellent. Armstrong, all he was missing was the goal today, and he got that last week when we needed him. And obviously, I've already talked about Linney and his hat trick. Linney's obviously going to be the one that is our main talisman this season, I think. But so he's always going to start. But the striker position, Armstrong and Kelly, I think Armstrong is the one, and Luamba or Ajiboye, I think Luamba. But yeah, fantastic today. Everything seemed to go well. I'm not entirely sure if it was us being fantastic or Braintree being absolutely terrible, which they were. And can I just say, shout out to the 51, I think there was, the 50-something Braintree fans that made the trip, because it's a long, long journey to see your team get beat 5-0. It's a long trip to come and watch that performance from your team. And look, I kind of sympathise with you, because a couple of years ago in League One, when you're travelling down to the London clubs, that was us. I relate to them a lot. I'll always remember some of the away trips, not just in League One, but in League Two, where you travel a long, long distance just to get absolutely snotted. And to be fair, I think that's what they saw today. So I can sympathise, is what I'm saying. Some other things from today. Shout out to Piotrek, or as podcast fans will know him better as Pio. Big friend of the channel, big friend of the podcast. It was his first game today, and honestly, I think we might have to keep him here, because if he's going to be the good luck charm that has us winning 5-0 every week, let's keep him in the country. But travelled all the way from Poland today. Excellent dedication from a Carlisle fan overseas there, and great to speak to you before the game as well. Something else I want to mention is a kind of partnership that we're starting this season. I should have mentioned it already, but I always seem to go off script in these videos, and it's the Dan Bateman's new blog article thing on Twitter, which I think he's done really well with. It's a fantastic read. So I'll leave a link to that in the comments. It's a fantastic read. Dan Bateman, known better for his mental health podcasts, but doing a lot of sports writing this season, and some brilliant writing as well. But more onto the game. Jack Ellis got his goal, the other one an own goal, but I think Armstrong would have tapped it in if it hadn't been an own goal. Something else I want to mention, I'm glad we didn't see the return of those blue flashing lights in the Warwick Road end when we scored. I'm not sure whether that's meant to be like something we have for the evening games when it's a bit darker out, but hopefully they have just binned them off. After, again, they got a very poor response last week, and it seems that they do it, get a poor response, take them away, and then slyly try and put them in again, and then everyone kicks off again. But hopefully they're going for good. But yeah, and it showed today why we didn't need them. I thought Brunton Park was absolutely excellent today. All three stands, all unified, chanting, singing, cheering, clapping when things went well. It was such a good atmosphere from the Carlisle fans today, and I was so proud to be part of that ground, part of that crowd today with the atmosphere. But yeah, look, it's almost in a game like this. It's a lot easier to talk about when things go wrong. So I'm almost sat here thinking, I don't really know what to talk about. Everyone was excellent. There's nothing I can kind of critique or pick apart from that performance. But yeah, maybe something to talk about. Embleton missing again. People seem to think he's got a knock. Could be on his way out potentially. I'd rather we didn't. Do I? I'm not sure how I feel about that, because obviously the wages is on, I don't think justify what he is in the squad. But at the same time, I don't want to be left with just Wern as the number 10, particularly if he can't play 90 minutes every week. Not that I don't like Wern, I prefer Wern over Embleton, in fact, but I'd like to have both of them as options, so hopefully he can get back to fitness soon and be back into the team. But yeah, look, fantastic today. Let's just hope we can build on this. It's really put my nerves to bed a little bit. I'm a lot more calm going into this season now. We were up to second in the league at some points today, and we're now only 2 points off top. Let's fight. Let's just go and get that top spot. Let's go and win next week, get top spot, and let's just batter everyone, shall we? Let's just win 5-0 every week. I'm going to be on here every week, not having nothing to talk about because we're so good that I've got nothing to pick apart. Let's just do this every single week. Another thing, good to see Feeney on the pitch again. I love the reception he got when he came on. Hopefully we see him starting in the near future. Not that Terrell Thomas has had a bad game today, but to be honest, even with his good game, I'd still prefer Feeney and Mugabe as our centre-back partnership. Hopefully we can see him starting soon, getting back to full fitness. But yeah, please let me know what you think in the comments, because I'm so intrigued to see what people are talking about after this game. I'm so intrigued to I'm just looking forward to reading the comments this week. Just happy, good vibes. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.